Derck. She's the owner of the Roth building, and I'm sure many of us remember buying furniture in that building. I can actually say I've done that.
1893. So in the very front window on one side of our window front right now was the small Rose Furniture building. Exactly who knows the history of the building and who doesn't. So my husband and I formed Market Street Venture Group, and we bought the building 5 years ago. Sorry, I'm trying not to laugh as I read the comments. So Joel David Ministry had what was called Shops on Market. And at that point, we closed down and we just reopened about 3 weeks ago after quarantine. So we're slowly building up our hours of operation there.